USL Super League action returns to Aldi Field for a Week 29 matchup between DC Power and the Tampa Bay Sun. DC Power attempt to build on a valuable point against Fort Lauderdale, while Tampa Bay Sun come in fresh off a 4-1 demolition against Lexington. And those 3 points for Tampa Bay Sun see them on that cusp of the playoff line, looking to break in to the top 4 and playoff spot. On the flip side, it's a huge weekend for both DC Power and Lexington, who could have their playoff futures confirmed after this week's action. Jess Charman and former Division 1 coach Eric Dobransky here with you. And we talked about a hard-fought point for DC Power. A lot of positives for Phil Nana's side.
Yeah, and Jess, a well-earned point, but a storyline that DC Power want to break tonight. Created some good looks in the first half, had that breakthrough with the end-line drive by Fitch and that finish by Gorley. But just 5 minutes later, they concede the equalizer, the set-piece service by Knox and the finish by Hamid. This is a group that has been stacking and stacking competitive performances, but now it's about closing up shop once you take that advantage.
A full 90-minute performance is what head coach Phil Nana is looking for, and a player that he is looking to help with that is Katie DeWong, coming into the starting lineup today, and she is third in the whole of the Super League in chances created.
A crafty player that'll command a lot of attention tonight. It displays the variety and the clinical behaviors in those valuable areas of the field, adds that progressive mindset, always looking to break lines, play forward. She's going to play a big part in breaking that pressure from Tampa Bay tonight.
And we'll see the quality of chances she can create. But Tampa Bay Sun are a side that have created a lot of chances, most recently 4 goals against Lexington Sporting Club. It was an emphatic victory for Denise Schulte-Brown's team.
And a game that saw them knocking on the door and then had an 11-minute span to finish up that first half and smash the door down. They were multifaceted. They caused havoc in the press that led to that first goal. And that allowed that momentum to produce 3 other loud scoring outputs and created a number of opportunities centrally wide, but did it collectively.
Well, they are led by a superstar in the forward line with plenty of experience. Tash Flint is just 1 goal away from tying the lead for the Golden Boot race. Has 8, but could add more tonight.
And it's that blend of new age ingenuity and timeless work rate. The technical prowess, the ability to unlock space higher up the field is game defining. She's also a relentless runner. Just watch the ground coverage tonight. Reinforces the press, but also makes it impossible for opponents to break away with her down press.
Well, the third meeting between DC Power and Tampa Bay Sun is just moments away from kickoff. Can DC Power capture their first 3 points of the spring slate, or will Tampa Bay Sun continue their rise towards the playoffs? Find answers to that and more. It's coming up next on Peacock.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
I'd rather be famous instead.
We're back from the nation's capital for USL Super League action between DC Power and Tampa Bay Sun. Jessica Charman alongside former Division 1 coach Eric Dobransky. And as we get a look into interim head coach Phil Nana's starting lineup for DC Power, the lone change.
Yeah, Jess, Phil Nana mentioned to us this week the importance of controlling space, the ball, and tempo. And when his team can control two of those three elements and they're effectively showcasing their principles, Gianna Gorley is going to be crucial to that, be one of the players that manipulates and controls that space with her movement. Wolfbauer and Aquino in the back, guiding the tempo through communication and disruptive defensive actions. This is a group that's driven to put together a comprehensive 90 minutes.
Head coach Denise Schulte-Brown and Tampa Bay Sun make one change, with Jade Moore coming into the starting lineup. Cecilia Flew to the bench.
And a group that is ruthless in their press, which will be led by Flint. This is about the aggressiveness of climbing the field. Hendricks, Page, Bissett will be steering the collective from the back line. Then in the midfield, the presence of Jordan Listro, disruptive play, and being that deep-lying playmaker.
Well, Denise Schulte-Brown has been very clear that it's a one game at a time mentality. Right now, Tampa Bay Sun sitting on the outside, looking in at those top 4 playoff spots. But she must be very happy with this side, particularly when you have a forward like Tash Flint, the 28-year-old out of England, who has featured for many impressive sides during her career. On the flip side, interim head coach Phil Nana. Oh, how we love to chat with him. So humble in the way that he talks about this side, but well aware of the fact that he is searching for an elusive, complete 90-minute performance. And of course, 3 points for the first time in this spring slate. Our referee for today's action will be Mohammed Hassan. DC Power in the black from right to left, Tampa Bay Sun in the yellow from left to right. And we are underway with Super League action, week 29, as a giveaway almost capitalized on. And Claire Constant will control through the back line. Jessica Charman, Eric Dobransky here with you. Our entire crew welcome you, of course, to USL Super League action on Peacock. Kurosaki just drew a foul. We'll set up a set-piece opportunity to just launch the ball forwards. Claire Constant, the Haitian international, stands over the delivery. Constant will get it back, and Tampa Bay Sun will activate the press. Mernin. Kurosaki tried to duke it around Listro. And a moment from our 4th official to step in to separate 2 players. We love a little bit of heat, though.
Yeah, 1 minute in, it'll add to quite the storyline as this game continues to play out and this matchup continues to play itself out.
Good to see Mohammed Hassan just have a conversation with 2 players and set the tone. And Mernin will now get a chance to throw it in. Wolfbauer lays it wide to Fitch. Fitch further forward to Colton. Colton. Here's DeWong. And Mernin will settle. It's good possession from DC Power, but then a poor giveaway by Kurosaki. And a direct ball forward for Tampa Bay Sun. It's up to Flint. Flint hustled, and a good recovery in the end. All the way back was Katrina Guiu.
But you can already see the purpose and the intent that DC Power are playing with. The issue becomes is when you do have that loose pass. And where does that loose pass lose you possession? Does it leave you in a moment where you can get transitioned and you have a player like Flint that's just sitting in between those 2 center backs, waiting and lurking in those dangerous moments? That's where DC Power is going to have to be careful.
Long ball forward. Fitch was the target. Marcelo able to control. She is pressured by Fitch. And opts to start it back with Hendricks. Gorley couldn't get a clean touch. It's cleared away, but only as far as DC Power's Fitch. Outside boot pass towards Colton. Colton will drive in across First catch for Ashley Orcus is clean.
And a positive start again for DC Power, the ability to be on the front foot right now. I know we're only entering the 4th minute, but that progressive nature, those behaviors, and the ability to find and break lines is going to be so important to not only the immediacy of controlling tempo, but as you begin to define bigger and louder moments in this match. When you play a pressing team like the Tampa Bay Sun, if you can prove to break lines and find pockets of space and make them retreat in moments that they don't want to retreat, you're winning those small battles that'll then become bigger issues for the Tampa Bay Sun to deal with later. And that's something that DC Power has been committed to throughout this season.
Saw that long ball headed clear. DC Power and Phil Nana told us that he just wants some defensive stability. He feels like they've grown in the principles. They're understanding their possessional play, so many improvements, but they have to find ways to manage games. He said a lot of it is mental. So here's Paige. Forward to Flint. An important read by Bagley. Here is Bagley, more central, her natural position centralized as she gets a wonderful ball forward to Colton. Colton has options ahead, Obster, and it hits the referee. The crowd at Audi Field not happy with our referee, but not much he can do there as the reverse pass goes straight into him from close range.
Just gonna have to settle for a restart here in this deeper position.
Have to wonder if it was the right decision from Colton to slow down in that transitional moment. Wolfbauer sends this one into the box. It's headed away. Be kept alive by DC Power. It's a beautiful switch to Wolfbauer, who intricately touches it forward to Fitch. Fitch and Page go shoulder to shoulder. And Fitch's pressure sees it knocked off of her for a Tampa Bay Sun throw.
And a good mix of being patient, but also adding that hint of urgency for DC Power. Ability to play some of these stretching 20, 30-yard balls, and then the ability to still be close enough and win that distance battle to link up play and play fast.
Here comes Victoria Haugen. Haugen slotting it down the channel. Goins inside of play. Parker Goins has plenty of experience with Racing Louisville, a former SEC midfielder of the year for Arkansas. And has really made a difference in the 9 games she's featured in for Tampa Bay Sun so far since arriving. She'll throw it to Haugen and get it back.
Well, that's the element for the Tampa Bay Sun. It's you can have spells of the game that you feel like it's not, they're just not gaining momentum, they're not gaining traction. But for this side, it only takes the flip of a switch and they're off and running.
Flint chests it to Jamona. Big slide tackle coming in. And then it deflects off Goins.
They are so multi-dimensional, so fluid, so diverse in the way that they can attack teams. And you look at that last matchup with Lexington, and then even before that, their 2-0 win over Fort Lauderdale United. The goal in each half and just scoring in a variety of different ways.
And it feels like Tampa Bay Sun able to handle adversity when things aren't going their way and understand that patience and suffering that sometimes a successful team needs.
Yeah, and you see that a lot with teams that are vying for playoff positions and vying to be at the top of the league. It's that ability to be flexible, be adaptable, be problem solvers, collaborate with each other and be collective in that collaboration, and then that translate into being effective and efficient in both boxes, because you have to make sure you're creating chances, but you got to convert them. And then in the defensive box, making sure that, yes, you're going to give up opportunities in matches. You're not going to go through a 90-minute match without a bit of suffering and a bit of dealing with some pressure and goal-scoring opportunities. But how do you defend those moments? Are you able to sacrifice? Are you able to make sure that that big play doesn't equal a goal against?
Some nice link-up play by Tampa Bay Sun. A cheeky little back heel that almost fell to Jamona. DC Power, though, resilient. It's Bagley's switch. Too easy for Page to recover. Marcelo to Page.
And something else that ends up playing itself out in terms of trends and patterns, especially at this point in the season, is your road record and your home record, and especially for Tampa Bay Sun that are coming off some terrific performances and picking up 3 points. They haven't picked up 3 points on the road since their last visit here to DC Power, and that's something that they're going to want to get corrected, especially because picking up points is at a premium right now as we hit this final stretch. So picking up 3 points at home and then translating that to going on the road and doing the same.
It's all very well to have a fortress, but you've also got to separate yourselves from the rest of the pack, particularly when there are 6 real teams fighting for those playoff spots. DC Power, Lexington, both mathematically alive, and anything can happen in the beautiful game, but you expect it to really be a battle between those top 6 right now.
And 3 out of their last 5 games after this one are on the road as well. They go to Spokane, they're away at Lexington, and away at Carolina.
And Spokane and Carolina, 2 of the hottest teams in the league right now. They'll battle it out tomorrow. Make sure you're watching that on Peacock. Fitch overhits the cross. And Phil Nana will be very encouraged about the way his side has started, but he emphasized time and time again that he has been encouraged by a lot of positives, but it's about making sure they're able to hold in these patterns of form consistently.
And you look at the results, and I know that they haven't really translated to 3 points, but they have been tight results. I mean, there's a couple draws in there, but all their losses have been by 1 goal. I think what he'd be the most pleased with is this scenario that just played itself out, is the ability to win the ball and regain possession higher up the field.
Duong finds Bagley. Bagley trying to find a way to get a cross in. It's well defended by Haugen. Second ball won by Mernon. Kurosaki, nutmeg pass to Bagley. Bagley, square to Fitch. Colton inside the box. Back to Fitch now. And Guillou will reset. Patient as the ball finds Constant. Mernon will reset again, and Phil Nana said their possession has got a lot better, and they're displaying that right now. Marcelo, Hendricks, into a dropping Listro. Feels like DC Power extremely organized when they give the ball away, to be in the right place at the right time when Tampa Bay Sun aren't clean enough with their splitting passes.
Yeah, displaying solid structure, being very difficult to break down right now. You could see how Tampa Bay Sun were able to reset when they regained possession, but after that, once they started entering that middle phase, the channels became tighter, the spacing between lines became tighter, it became impossible to play through.
As Bagley touch-stroked the tight line and wasn't able to quite find a way to find a pass. She'll get a second opportunity though. time her touch didn't stick. Anna Bagley, a player that Phil Nana has spoke very highly about, a team player, a complete engine, and actually is naturally more central on the field, but does a shift in that wide position.
Somebody that already early on in this match, you could see the anticipation, that progressive mindset, the ability to put herself in positions to pick up those second and third actions.
Aquino will launch this far. Gawley chases. No foul there for Mohamed Hassan, our referee. Gawley will chase this down. She's got the legs. Gianna Gawley pulls the trigger a little early. But Gianna Gawley, an impeccable talent, almost with an opportunity to take the lead.
And I know this giveaway is scary for Tampa Bay Sun, but Vivian Bissett does a terrific job of making sure that she does not foul there, because that can change the complete narrative of the game. Just believes in the 1v1 ability to defend that space.
We've still not had a red card in the USL Super League. If she takes her down there, you've got an argument for Dogso. Foul came in from behind there. Jade Moore apologetic. Understands she timed that one completely wrong. Incredible that Moore, with 49 caps for the English national team, another testament to the style of players that are arriving and featuring here in the USL Super League's inaugural season. Mernin trying to find some space and then commits the foul. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. We've seen a very good defensive action from Viv Bissett. Now let's see what she can do from the dead ball. Has plenty of dimes served in already this season.
And an assist last week against Lexington for Hannah Keene's first goal.
Bissett will hang this one into an area. It's chested down and cleared away by DC Power again. Defensively structured well. Bissett underhits that pass. It's a one-time clearance away by Guiu.
Yeah, I think the one thing that Phil Nana wants to see from his group is that breakthrough in the final third, because all the possession and the good defensive structure has not quite opened up the door to a clear-cut opportunity just yet. Obviously, they had the near turnover, but that shot was still forced from distance. So still yet to put themselves in that collective position where they can drive to the end line, have those layered runs involved in the 18-yard box.
So we take a look at the possession stats. You can see DC Power, 58% of the possession. The issue for Phil Nana's side is even with less of the ball, Tampa Bay Sun have more of those final third aggressive entries. Kurosaki. Duong. Winding through traffic. Plays Fitch. Fitch trying to get round Page, squares it to Colton. Colton into an area, Gawley can't quite get there. It's better from the home side. Claire Constant assesses. Bagley the target, drops to Kurosaki. And Yuka Kurosaki just couldn't get a clean connection on the volley.
And again, what you continue to see, even in the attacking half, is that DC Power being in proper positions to pick up second and third balls. Their ability to put themselves in areas and spaces to pick up the those secondary actions is going to be something that can come to define this matchup. And Phil Nana knows that this team has the ability to possess and not, we throw that word possess around a lot, but it's the intent and it's the purpose in which you can stretch opponents, create those channels that you want to exploit. And that's where right now DC Power are still asking questions of the Tampa Bay Sun, but you could see them getting closer and closer. Now they're starting to have breakthroughs 20, 25 yards out. They're kind of breaking into the 18-yard box, but they're doing it with a lot of those defensive actions and the ability to not have to build 120 yards out every time.
Poor ball from Morgan Aquino leads to a giveaway off of the boots of Madison Mernin. Flint finds the thrower. Claire Constant with a great read and passing it forward to Kurosaki. A really important read defensively back by Listro. You've talked to me about Jordan Listro. She is an absolute workhorse, and she displays it in moments like that with the recovery to defend.
Yeah, when you play a pressing style like the Tampa Bay Sun, you have to have individual players that win their duels and take a lot of value in winning their duels. And she being one of those players that does it at a high rate, a high clip, and that back line as well, the ability to absorb some of the pressure and the risks that you take when you do climb the field at the rate that they do.
This pass falls to Fitch. Fitch, early lofted cross. Bagley can only head it up and is penalized for the foul. She wonders what it's for, but there was a slight hand on the back of the defender.
Yeah, the slightest of pushes off. Tampa Bay earned the restart. I think 21 minutes in, they're still trying to find that rhythm, that fluidity to their game in the build, and still getting a good grasp of pressing cues. I think anytime you start a match, you're gonna get a better feel for the traps that you want to set. Obviously, you're gonna come in with the ideas and the game plan, but until you see it in real time, this being the first time that they meet here in the spring season.
Fitch. Nice cut by Colton. Goins can only clear it out for a deep attacking power throw.
And that's what Tampa Bay is doing a terrific job of right now. Even when they get broken from that press, they have good collective numbers in and around the ball. They have good support. Some of those lines are not leaving them the opportunity to build out and play out from distances, and you see a lot. Flint being the only outlet up top, and you need that ability to play forward.
As Jamona danced through some traffic and then sent the ball forwards. It'll be well recovered by Mernin. Madison Mernin has had her hands full in that left back position, but she has dealt with it gracefully so far. As Constant with a cheap giveaway, Tash Flint caught off guard. Don't expect Tash Flint to get caught by surprise there. That'll be a wake-up call for Claire Constant, who has been one of the most consistent players for Phil Nana's side. There's a delivery served in and a great take. Morgan Aquino gets above Tash Flint and grabs it cleanly. She'll bowl it out right away to Kurosaki. Smart from the Australian goalkeeper. Morgan Aquino has been in the battle all season long with Adelaide Gay for that starting position. Phil Nana was transparent, said it's a game-by-game basis, but when Morgan Aquino is making catches like that outside her 6-yard box, you can't help but think Phil Nana will be very satisfied with this play.
Here's the delivery. Again, the challenge by Flint, and Aquino able to meet it at its highest point, make it a routine stop. The chance before that, that loose giveaway. when you have a team that presses, those are the cues that all of a sudden you're hunting a little quicker. You're playing front-footed. You see some opportunities where you can step to that space sooner because you feel like that turnover is just a pass away. Now you got to defend a deep free kick.
And it's Katie Duong on the free kick, who has created the third most chances in the entire USL Super League in this inaugural season. Mohamed Hassan just making sure everybody is playing fair as Duong squares the ball to Fitch. And that a wasted effort from DC Power. You expect a little bit more from set pieces from Phil Nana's side when they haven't necessarily created all too much from the run of play. You've got players like Claire Constant, who now on your screen is having to make that long recovery run. You've got to put in a service, surely. But that is a great ball towards Colton. Back to Bagley. Inside for Kurosaki, who just drops it back to Duong. And Mernon gives it away this time to Nasello. Nasello trying to round Mernon, who hustles and bustles. No foul given. Nasello and Mernon will have a second opportunity to fight it out. And Nasello spin, throws off the defender. She'll put a cross in under the bar, and quick feet from Morgan Aquino to grab on her goal line.
You felt like you had Nasello accelerating into that space. Looked like it had slowed up just enough to allow Mernon back in the play.
We did see Mohamed Hassan blow his whistle for an injury there. Saw Morgan Aquino a little confused, but it does look like it's a head injury, and therefore the correct decision from our center referee to make sure the athletic training staff can get onto the field to assess. As we hit 25 minutes into the play, it's been a really solid performance from the home side in DC Power, but the issue for Phil Nana is all the possession, all of the positive touches haven't led to a dent in the scoreline.
Yeah, you're still seeking that final breakthrough, that moment, that action that gets you into the 18-yard box in an advantageous position with numbers around the goal, but have just not been able to press the accelerator as soon as they hit that area of the field. I talked about the balance and the patience and the urgency earlier, but once they hit that space, that 25 yards out, you've got to put your foot on the gas and play. But that's credit to Tampa Bay Sun. The ability to halt play and slow them down in those big moments.
Well, as we know, there's prolific goal scorers on these teams. For Tash Flint in 8th position. Getting a look, though, at Cecile Fleur, who is tied for 3rd with her teammate Carly Jamona and Amina Ekic of Spokane Zephyr. As we know, with it being this close, this compact, any amount of goals can really change things in the Golden Boot race. And surprisingly, still, Eric, haven't had that double-digit goal scorer as of yet.
No, but I would dare to say we're going to be there soon, because to the point you just made with the stretch that we're hitting, the playoff push that all these teams are starting to take a close look at, you need big plays, and goals change games, and the ability for these teams to continue to put pressure on each other is going to be important, and something for their goal scorers, that ability to be dangerous and threats in those attacking spaces is going to be something that's crucial down this final stretch.
Of course, Cecilia Fleur on the bench today. Expect to see her come on and have an impact. What an asset that is to be able to drop into your bench and bring on as fresh legs. So we see this extended period of play for Victoria Haugen with the nosebleed. Didn't really see what led to that moment, but again, good to see that Mohamed Hassan was quick to notice and recognize that it was a head injury and appropriately paused the play. Hassan does have ball in hands to drop start things, and we're back underway with a direct ball towards Bagley. What a pass to Anna Bagley. Bagley, early cross, will drop to Gawley, who sees her strike blocked by Page. Important touch away by Page in the back line for Tampa Bay Sun.
Massive intervention there by Page. This ball sneaks through. Just unable to get a quick strike off. That was probably the biggest moment for DC Power thus far.
But it felt like Tampa Bay Sun just weren't awake to that quick drop ball. It's brilliantly done by DC Power, who now are penalized for a free kick. Bassett draws the foul. But Denise Schulte-Brown will be very concerned that her side weren't able to set up quickly to that restart.
And I think what they're trying to continue to figure out here in 30 minutes into the match is, how do you condense this space? How do you shrink this field? DC Power is doing a terrific job of stretching them, making play unpredictable as we get another stoppage.
See Mohamed Hassan certainly setting a consistent bar for fouls. Has led to the game being a little stop-start, which in a lot of ways will suit neither of these teams that wants to be able to get some flow together.
Yeah, 30 minutes in, you can't say that we've had a lot of rhythm to this game, but DC Power has had a lot more of the possession, has seen some more of the play through the thirds. Again, the multi-dimensional nature of the Tampa Bay Sun, as we can see, no shots and 0 shots on target, but the 3 shots and the 1 for DC Power.
But again, the issue is when you have a coach like Denise Schulte-Brown, who is able to get the best out of her players. She has players that score goals for fun, the likes of Tash Flint, Cecilia Flo to be able to come off the bench. Now Hannah Keane, a former Golden Boot winner in the Australian League. There are assets if DC Power can't utilize all of this momentum, all of this rhythm, time on the ball, but not finishing goals.
And then in their 6 goals, the 2 against Fort Lauderdale United and the 4 against Lexington, 6 different goal scorers. So when you have that kind of dynamic play offensively, it just makes it so much more difficult to just focus on one. You focus on Tash Flint, slow her down, but then the Cello is the dangerous player. Tankersley coming off the bench. I mean, Hannah Keane, as you mentioned, coming off the bench and scoring a goal. I mean, there is so much depth and so much quality that can come in and hurt you, that you look at these teams vying for the top 4 to move on to the playoffs, and you look at the teams that are trending upwards and trending in that direction of those collective performances, and the Tampa Bay Sun being one of those groups.
As a quick free kick was taken, Fitch thought she'd been able to read it and earn the free kick. In the end, the referee not happy with the positioning of Colton on that ball. You mentioned the goal-scoring prowess of Tampa Bay Sun. They're 3rd top in the league with 32 goals scored. Only Dallas Trinity and Carolina are sent with more goals. The issue for DC Power is they've scored by far the fewest goals in the entirety of the league. 15 goals. That's less than half of the goals that Tampa Bay Sun have scored this season. Gawley. Good little spin to create some space for herself, as shoulder to shoulder with Jade Moore. It's the linesman on the far side that waves the flag for a free kick against Moore. Every Wednesday, listen to USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts Marion Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along all season long on the SiriusXM app.
Let's see if we get a delivery here from Duong. Does look like they're going to play short.
And it's Colton getting it back now. Colton, her last touch just a little heavy that allows Nasello to clear this one away for a throw. Duong trying to get the speed of play back. Fitch chips it. And Guiyu just tries to be a little too tricky with the back heel and can't execute. Susanna Fitch, though, such a quality player to this forward line, brings a wealth of experience and energy. And I like the chemistry she's built as of late with Emily Colton. So handball is called against Gianna Gawley. That one just bobbled up awkwardly. Now's the issue, though, as DC Power caught in transition. Flint, comfortable in the end for Morgan Aquino down to her right-hand side.
That Route 1 football, the ability to break so many lines with this clipped-in ball over the top, and Flint so dangerous, commanding so much attention. Had numbers entering the final third. Just too late, the decision had been made. Obviously forcing Aquino into a save.
Gawley and Bagley trying to find a way to break through Jade Moore. Gianna Gawley has had time on the ball, but every time it feels like she's swarmed by 4 or 5 Tampa Bay jerseys.
Well, and I think that this is an extension of kind of the issue that we were just discussing with the goal scored for DC Power, is that when you are amongst one of the lowest goal-scoring outputs in the USL Super League, do you start forcing the issue? Do you start forcing some of those scenarios? And you could see the possession numbers and the time on the ball is there, but you almost try to recreate some scenarios that just have passed. So it's about being fluid in those decisions, being decisive.
Well, our first corner kick of the entire game comes here in the 35th minute. It'll be Viv Bissett to stand over this. You mentioned she had an assist in the game against Lexington. In-swinger coming from Viv Bissett. Bissett. And the referee blows his whistle. And it does feel like we've talked a lot about Mohamed Hussein, and he has set the bar for a foul. At what time do the players have to adjust to what is a level of a foul?
I would dare to say that is going to be reiterated at the break, because you make a great point. You ask for consistency, you ask for positioning, and once you get those, it's on the players to start adjusting and adapting. And to be unable to get a service in on a corner, it's going to be frustrating, especially when you're the team that has not been able to create a lot in the run of play, have not been able to see a lot of the ball or create some of those bigger moments that you look to create in the press.
Page into the body of Wolfbauer. Will fall to Nasello. Nasello jumping through challenges Wolfbauer's defense. And in the end, Morgan Aquino coming to the rescue.
And you've only seen it a couple times here in this first 45. Some slight dents into what DC Power, their defensive structure. We saw it earlier in the first half with the giveaway, but Flint unable to punish them in that moment. Caught her by surprise as well, that loose pass. But some of those isolations, those 1v1s, that ability to break teams down is going to be there, but now it's about sustainability for Tampa Bay.
But dare I say it, it's a key 10 minutes or so for DC Power. Don't forget the Tampa Bay Sun against Lexington, last time out last weekend. They held Tampa Bay Sun to 0-0 until the 36th minute when Sydney Nasello got onto the scoreboard. 3 goals followed before the halftime whistle. So DC Power need to be aware of this late threat in the half that Tampa Bay Sun possess. Duong just clears her lines.
But I would also add to that, in that Lexington match, they grew momentum and confidence with the way they were pressing and the way they were winning the ball higher up the field. They have not been able to successfully do that collectively so far tonight. They've had some moments, but they have not been able to be consistent with the spacing, the distances, and this game is all about the battle of distances. Regardless of what your tactical setup is, what formation, what identity, you have to win the distance battle. You have to be able to put yourself in an area where you're winning territory, you're regaining possession higher up the field, you're breaking line successfully.
As Fitch breaks a line, looking for Colton, just overhits it a little. Hendricks has to play it out. Kurosaki rounds Page. As Kurosaki back to Colton, parried into the danger zone and just shy of the post. Chaotic play as Colton with a strike. Orcus takes a sigh of relief as that one goes wide. As we see, coming straight from a throw-in.
And going back to that point you made earlier about that free kick, that deep free kick from DC Power, almost very similar. It's not necessarily a free kick or a dead ball situation, but those sideline restarts just being a bit casual in the setup.
Duong will serve this corner short to the front post. Fitch back to Duong. Duong will serve this in and into the hands of Ashley Orcus.
And you have to like how committed DC Power is to some of the short setups that they have on the corners and the free kicks. But just like the possession, it's still yet to lead to something dangerous. And I know when you go short, you want to shift the opponent, you want to stretch them, you want to open up spaces that are possibly not available on a direct free kick. But you need that final action.
As a strike comes in over the crossbar. An ambitious effort from Nacello, but it doesn't miss by all too much.
That is progressive thinking right there. Quick touch, the prep, the ability to hit with power from that distance. Recognize that no defender was stepping to her. Nacello was another player that last week had a massive game. Scored the first goal that opened up that match, and as you mentioned, that 11-minute span that saw Tampa Bay Sun score 3 goals.
As Goins tried to dispossess in the midfield, but DC Power quickest to the loose ball. Colton has Gawley ahead. Colton goes for goal herself. Just drags wide. But Colton is cooking in the last 5 moments.
When you can get this ball on the half turn and know exactly where and how you want to get to that space, Colton recognizing that all the defenders were dropping inside their own 18-yard box, the ability to strike from that distance. Unfortunately, unable to put it on frame and force Ashley Orcus into a save.
Emily Colton, in her first professional contract, spent time with UNC and Wake Forest collegiately. Has also featured for the U17 and U20 US Youth national teams. And is certainly getting on the radar of USL Super League fans everywhere.
And has had heavy involvement tonight. The ability to work with Fitch, De Jong. It's been a complete performance thus far. Now, if this scoreline holds at 0-0 going into the break, for DC Power, how do you extend into the second half in terms of the ability to be on the ball and be ball dominant, because you know Tampa Bay Sun are going to make adjustments to make you feel uncomfortable, to shrink the space, to force you and cradle you into areas that you don't want to be in, but then also add the element of being dangerous in the final third and some of those big moments where you can either move defenders with that 1v1 technical portion or the link-up play, the combination play.
And it's also interesting that Phil Nana has said a point is good, but they're looking for 3 points. They haven't won in the spring slate. At what point maybe do we see DC Power taking even more risks as they search for a winner? As Page just ran out of real estate on the far side of the field. Page will get ready to throw this one in. A looping throw, headed clear by Guiu, but it is controlled by Nacello. Nacello defended by Fitch. Fitch patiently waiting as Nacello back to goal. Double team from Fitch and Colton. And it's out of play. Patiently done by the combination of Colton and Fitch. We've talked a lot about them on the attacking side of the ball, but they're showing that chemistry on the defensive side too.
That cohesive play, the relationships, that togetherness that Phil Nana had brought up to us as well. That buy-in, and you see it in the results in terms of the fight, the value and the pride that they're taking in match by match. They want to grow, they want to develop. That's why they are a dangerous team to be playing in this final stretch, this run. If you're a team, obviously they're still in the thick of it and they're in the mix. But if you're one of those teams that is vying for a playoff spot as well, DC Power is a team that is starting to click. They're starting to find their form. They need to put it together in the final third and have that equate to goals scored.
I loved how Phil Nana told us this team is playing for a greater purpose now than just wins. They're playing for each other, and you can see it right now as Fitch goes for goal, and a cross-come shot sails over the bar. We do see 3 additional minutes of play. A large amount of that due to the face injury we saw on Victoria Haugen. DC Power would love to try and get one more opportunity before the break, but need to be aware defensively too. As Gawley sees another awkward one bounce up to her arm. Hasn't had too much of the ball today, but again, Phil Nana told us she's the sort of player that they know can make something out of nothing and create so much positivity for the back line because they always feel like there might be a goal somewhere for their team.
And the attention that she commands that possibly opens up availability for other teammates, for other chances and other space to become open. It's a player that you're always looking over your shoulder. You're trying to find where she is, what space she's occupying, what teammate is around her. Do you need to shift over and help? And how does that affect your defensive structure and your spacing?
Kurosaki just knocks that one off at the boots of Listro. It's been a complete 45 minutes from DC Power, but they need a completing 96 is what Phil Nana said, making sure he included those stoppage time additional minutes. Everything needs to be perfect from his team. I expect it will be a positive halftime talk from Phil Nana. On the flip side, Denise Schulte-Brown will definitely have a word or two with her side, but again, in a 0-0 draw, anything can happen. Kurosaki connecting with Fitch as Colton being defended, but Colton almost picked the pocket. And the whistle blows as Colton a little too physical with Nacello. And Tampa Bay Sun starting to get, when you look at their body language, very frustrated. You saw Nacello yelling at the referee, counting on her fingers how many times she feels like a foul has been. If you're Phil Nana's side, he praised their body language and composure. He's starting to think that we're doing something right to frustrate a very composed side.
Yeah, it's one of the most visible things you can do as an opponent is bring that out and those characteristics out, the frustration. And for Tampa Bay Sun, have to be happy that the halftime break is coming up because they have to feel like they have plays out there to be made. They just haven't made them.
As you saw a hit and hope ball from Goins. Tash Flint wasn't going to chase until Aquino just held it at her boots to drain a few seconds off of the referee's watch. And that will do it for the first half of action here from Aldi Field. It's 0-0 through the first 45 minutes of play. DC Power have forced a couple of very big saves out of Ashley Orcus. And Tampa Bay Sun have a lot of work to do if they continue to gain momentum in their playoff chase.
And for Tampa Bay Sun, it's going to be about how do you make the next ball predictable. And I'm talking about off the ball. 1v1 moments. How do you make the next ball predictable so that your teammates are there to be able to pick up the ball and have that structure to play outlets? And for DC Power, it's about finding that mix of balance, that balance of patience and urgency, and being able to break through in the final third.
Well, we are now joined by Susanna Fitch of DC Power. Susanna, a very good first half from DC Power. I wanted you to touch on the chemistry we're seeing between you and Emily Colton. What do you enjoy about your link-up play with Emily?
Yeah, she's so fun to play with. I think we're just finding the right spaces. We're combining really well, and I think we're also switching the ball quickly, which is what we've been working on, and finding that open space out wide and trying to create stuff. So we got to keep that up in the second half.
Yeah, great first half. What does your team need to find that breakthrough here in the second half?
Yeah, we just got to take our chances. I think we're doing a really good job of keeping the ball in the final third, and now it's about being clinical in front of the net. And yeah, hitting the right crosses, hitting the right shots, all of that.
Well, Susanna, thank you so much for your time. Good luck in the second half of action.
Thank you.
That was Susanna Fitch with DC Power. She's played a huge role in DC Power being locked in a 0-0 draw through the first 45 minutes of action. But we've got plenty to get into in the halftime break. Make sure you're sticking with us here on Peacock. Halftime action is coming up next.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Forfeit defending. Ramirez is in behind the keeper and scores! Marley Canal is with the cross. Sprinter team tapped home. Bedoya launches and tucks it into the top right-hand corner. Whoa! Say man by Alpizi.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Welcome back to Audi Field, and fans very satisfied through the first 45 minutes. DC Power in a 0-0 tie with Tampa Bay Sun as things stand. Jessica Chum and Eric Dobransky. Let's take a look at the news and notes from around the USL Super League. It's all about the young guns. Valentina Perotta became the youngest player to start a USL Super League match, not featured today. But Eric, Carolina Ascent are doing so well at the moment.
They are finding that balance in both boxes that you need to be successful in 4 matches, 13 goals and 0 conceded. That's incredible right there. And the amount of different goal scorers they have had on this season has been massive.
And Hope Heisey currently leads the Golden Glove race. That statistic is based on goals against average. She has the best in the league. Plenty more action for week 29. Dallas Trinity FC versus Fort Lauderdale is the one I've got eyes on. They're hosting a disability soccer clinic before that game, which is empowering individuals with disabilities, recognizing the importance of inclusivity and equal opportunities. That is all what the USL family believes in. Carolina Ascent versus Spokane Zephyr, though. Can't ignore 2 of the most informed teams matching up.
Yeah, Spokane trying to fight their way into that playoff conversation, and they are doing it. They are 4-0-1 in the last 5 matches and 6 goals in the last 2 matches and 2 clean sheets. So, again, another team that's doing it in both boxes, but playing Carolina Ascent. So that will be the matchup that will really tell a lot from Spokane Zephyr.
Well, USL Super League has its very own podcast show. Let's have a look at what's going on in game week.
A lot of fantastic individual play across the league, plus one team that has one last shot potentially to stay in playoff contention.
Yeah, you can also figure out why I'm wearing a shirt with my dog on it. And we talked to Spokane Zephyr's leading gal, Allie Cook, 3 goals Spokane on a 4-match unbeaten streak. Do they have what it takes to make it in the first ever USL Super League playoff?
Well, it's 0-0 at halftime from Audi Field. Will these fans get something to cheer about, or is it just about the snacks? We're going to get into highlights after this quick break. Welcome back to Audi Field. DC Power fans dressed very appropriately for our Easter matchup between DC Power and Tampa Bay Sun. We're in a 0-0 draw through the first 45. Jess Charman, Eric Dobransky. Let's take a look at our halftime highlights. And Eric, surprisingly for a 0-0, plenty of action.
Yeah, both these teams problem solving, finding ways to question each other's back line and their structure. And you can see Aquino dealing with this early service from Tampa Bay Sun. When you have Flint driving at you, that's always a scary sight. Advantageous positions to put numbers in the box, so something that they're going to want to extend into the second 45.
Well, we've got a whole second half of action coming up next. Tampa Bay Sun fans behind enemy lines. Who will get the bragging rights? Will it be DC Power or Tampa Bay Sun? Find out. Second half is coming up next.
Substitution for Tampa Bay Sun FC to begin the second half, moving the match number 12, Jade Moore. Entering the match, number 13, Cicely Nielsen.
Welcome back to Audi Field for USL Super League action. It's second half between DC Power and Tampa Bay Sun. Denise Schulte-Brown didn't like what she saw through that first 45. She's made a change, bringing in Cecilia Fleur in replacement for Jade Moore. We are back underway. Jessica Charman alongside former Division 1 coach Eric Dobransky. Delighted you're joining us and our entire crew here on Peacock. DC Power, of course, in the dark blue from left to right. Tampa Bay Sun in the yellow from right to left. And our referee, Mohammed Hassan. And Eric, for DC Power and interim head coach Phil Nana, it has to be about continuing in the same way, but adding that little clinical firepower.
Yeah, the same but different. The same structure, the same possession, the same tempo, through the first 2/3 in terms of the build, the middle portion of the field, but once you hit that final third, can you ramp up the pressure? Can you play with that pace, that urgency, put the foot on the gas and go forward? And you saw in the moments that they chose to do so, they created some dangerous opportunities, but now it's about consistently doing it and putting Tampa Bay Sun where they're playing on the back foot. Tough turnover here.
Great read from Bagley. She'll find Kurosaki, puts it a little behind her. Nutmeg pass. Gawley. Back to Giyu. Giyu shapes for a strike. Orcus with some good feet and then goes down to ground to make sure.
And that was a good introduction to what they did so well in the first 45, was their ability to turn the ball over and regain possession in those higher situations. You don't always have to build from goalkeeper to the forward line. Give yourself 30, 40 yards away from goal, and the ability to be in close proximity to each other in the attack. When you have good defensive structure, you're going to have good attacking structure.
As a foul is called.
It's not always going to translate to some of those final actions in front of goal, but you're going to have those outlets. You're going to have that ability to play forward.
So we see a conversation between Mohamed Hassan and Giyu. Sydney Narcella might be trying to get a yellow card shown there. Mohamed Hassan does not oblige. Jamona have not talked about her enough today, and this time not clean enough with the ball. As a give and go, finds Gawley. Gawley trying to outrun Brooke Hendricks. Gawley was looking to square it. It's Bissett coming over with an important tackle.
And that's where the Tampa Bay Sun have lived today, is making important interventions when they have to. They've given up some real estate going forward. They've given up some bigger plays in terms of the build, but they have been there when they needed to make the play, whether it's a deflection, whether it's a tackle. The interventions have been crucial to keep this 0-0.
Just corner kick number 2 for DC Power. We've only had 3 across the full 48 minutes of action so far. De Wong gets that one wrong, but in the end we'll get another opportunity. Does feel like DC Power overcomplicating some of these set pieces.
We have not seen one free kick or corner kick go in direct. They've been short. They've played to move Tampa Bay Sun.
De Wong. This time she'll drive it towards the 6. Orcus comes up with a one-handed punch away. Bagley and Listro in a foot race. It'll go out for a power throw.
When you have the fearless presence of Ashley Orcus, the ability to fight through traffic and a solid punch out and away from goal.
Kurosaki drops to Giyu, one-time strike. We've seen a couple of long shots from Katrina Giyu.
But I would dare to say that that's going to be what Tampa Bay Sun are okay with, is some of those opportunities from distance. We're going to need to do something special to beat Ashley Orcus from that area.
Here's Fleur. Fleur's cross is cleared away by Giyu. Narcello. Narcello continues. A looped cross, too easy for Morgan Aquino. Just to confirm, that's going to be live tape now. As it stands. Okay, we keep having technical difficulties. And apologies, it does appear like we're having some technical difficulties here from Aldi Field. We are back underway. in a 0-0 draw between DC Power and Tampa Bay Sun. Jessica Chum and Eric Dobransky here with you. Susanna Fitch will take this throw. Great halftime interview with Susanna, who I loved the reaction when we talked about Emily Colton and their chemistry. Definitely can tell that they're playing with smiles on their faces. But this time a bit of a miscue between the two. Wolfbauer will be able to recover back to Aquino, who just boots it as far afield as she can. Jamona, we've seen her a lot deeper today. Here is Jamona again, trying to find a way to connect, this time with a big switch. It's one time forward to Goins. And then Tash Flint, who's dropped deeper with the insertion of Flew to Nacello. And a corner kick is earned for Tampa Bay Sun, their second now of the game.
And this is an area that Tampa Bay Sun, an element that they've added and evolved into from the fall to the spring, is the ability to add variety to the way they break lines. They can be direct at times. They can keep possession. They can be multi-dimensional when they need to be. They can adjust to what games are giving them.
Page will be tasked with this one. Page, good looking ball towards the back of Hendricks. Hendricks just couldn't get a clean run at it, and she has stayed down. An awkward collision as Hendricks went up for the jump. And Brooke Hendricks, the 31-year-old. And these are scenes you just do not want to see. She's an experienced player, and you can just tell in her reaction that she knows she felt something not correctly. As we get a look at Denise Schulte-Brown, who will be extremely concerned of Brooke Hendricks' well-being. Let's take a look at our current live standings as things would occur with Tampa Bay Sun gaining a point today. That would see them pivot into the playoff line, into third position. Brooke Hendricks, of course, has had a storied career in the NWSL, most recently with Reading FC over in England. It's good to see her up and running under her own power, because having seen the replay up in our booth, there were some real concerns that she wouldn't be up and under her own power, Eric. So this really, really encouraging. And the character of this player, absolutely tough as nails.
Yeah, your heart just sinks when you see the replay, and then just pure joy and relief when you see the movement, and obviously still continuing to kind of feel around at the knee and then get some of that cutting movement and that sprinting movement, but just hope that something that allows her to continue. And
Denise Schulte-Brown getting eyes on one of her leaders. A player like Brooke Hendricks can be such a role model for younger players, and again, one of those stories of players getting an opportunity to blade black home after spending time overseas. And it is so good to see that she is back running under her own power. It's constant. And Finch just gets floored to the ground by Tash Flint. Hendricks still waiting to be cleared to get back into the play. Tash Flint trying to remind the referee that her side are currently playing one down. As the ball served forward. Kurosaki chased, and Hendricks is back into the game. Great news for Tampa Bay Sun. Kurosaki, defended by Jamona, drives it into Jamona and out for a DC Power corner kick. got to expect them to lump this one in, having seen the most recent one and the difficulty it did cause for Tampa Bay's Orcas.
But also put a bit more chaos and a little more traffic in and around Ashley Orcas, because she was able to locate and meet the ball on the last direct service. So something that you want her to have to work around a player. You want her to have to force her way through some of the space.
It will be Duong. The former Stanford player, Duong. Hendricks headed it clear. She's joined by Fleur. And Constant can't touch that one cleanly. It's a foot race with Marcelo, and Claire Constant with a professional foul, a smart foul. And Phil Nana has talked about wanting to make sure the fouls they commit are deserved. And this is soccer IQ from Claire Constant.
Yeah, and you tag this under game management, because you know that you've got the momentum in terms of the possession, the creation. And you also know that you're playing a team in Tampa Bay Sun that they only need one moment. They need one moment to break. They'll get the numbers. They'll get that commitment and that pace going forward. So that foul, I know you pick up a yellow and you have to be measured from here on out, but it is tactically the right thing to do in that situation.
Claire Constant with a lot of experience, a Haitian international player, will understand what it means to be a defender playing on a caution. Bissett. Goins. And a poor touch far side. Stay up to date with the USL Super League. Sign up for the Super Newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at uslsuperleague.com/newsletter.
And this is going to be where Tampa Bay Sun want to regain possession. They concede a foul, but anytime any of these restarts, goal kicks, deep throw-ins for DC Power, you're going to use it to stack the numbers, climb the field. Just unable to get some of those timely turnovers that they're accustomed to seeing throughout the season.
Aquino will send this one long down the channel. It's flicked on by Bagley. Brave header from Bagley under some pressure. Guiu is penalised for what appeared to be an awkward bobble again for a handball. The bounce has not done too many favours for DC Power so far this evening.
We are back to a start and stop kind of match that we saw in the first half. So these isolation plays, these 1v1 moments, a lot of them turning into fouls, whether it's the tactical nature that we saw from Constant picking up the yellow, or some of these aerial duels, 50-50 balls that you want to make sure that either the play is stopping dead right in that moment, or you are regaining possession. One of the two things are happening.
Haugen will throw this one into Goins and get it back. Marcelo has found herself inside. They play it wide to Page. Listro. It's Tampa Bay Sun's time to enjoy some convincing possession. Flint all the way back in her own center circle, distributes the ball forward to Page. And Page's touch too heavy. But where does Tash Flint not play on this football pitch?
Yeah, just the recognition that she operates with, that tactical awareness, it's just so hard to account for 90 minutes. That's why for Tampa Bay Sun, you're only looking for a quality opportunity right now. You're obviously looking for moments where you can enjoy some of the ball. You are looking for moments where you could get DC Power possibly overshifted or squeezed, where you could find a ball either over the top or find some of that width that you've enjoyed over the last few weeks.
So a really big collision by Jamona into the back of Susanna Fitch. Phil Nana, usually so cool, calm and composed on the sideline, was not happy with that challenge in the back. Let's take a look at this challenge coming from the goal kick of Aquino.
Just traveling right through Fitch.
Wolfbauer will serve this one, and we know she's got a big boot. There's a ball through, an early strike from Jamona. Almost caught the goalkeeper, Ashley Orcus, off guard.
And now both these teams exchanging what you could consider half chances, but kind of warning shots for each other in terms of the ability to create, just kind of showcasing that ability for a quick strike, whether it's Tampa Bay Sun, that ball over the top that Page wasn't able to cut into the box, but still terrific run. And then Gorley getting that shot off, and might have had a bit of time to go 1v1 in that situation, but still getting herself into a positive situation, a positive area.
It's been a good hour for DC Power, but that's not enough, particularly against a side like Tampa Bay Sun. As we see Fleur trying to press down. Great touch by Colton, somehow made that stick. Kurosaki to Colton, back to Kurosaki. She'll leave it for Fitch. Wide to Kurosaki. Early cross, deflects off Page.
See, that's where they were urgent through the build in the middle third, but then once they hit the final third, just that split second that allows Tampa Bay Sun to get back defensively, get their support, make it incredibly difficult for DC Power to create any sort of final action in front of Ashley Orcus.
Kurosaki will control this. Has played twice in the Champions League in Europe. And she earns another deep attacking throw. Kurosaki, who scored 1 goal in the Super League. It was a February Goal of the Month winner. Jamona gets her pocket picked. Colton looking to round the cello. She's forced back to Wolfbauer. Wolfbauer drives. Connecting, finds Colton. And Colton can't get there ahead of Goins. As much as we've seen a point take Tampa Bay Sun up in the live table, you have to feel like Denise Schulte-Brown will not be satisfied, particularly being aware of the form of teams like Spokane Zephyr, who are right behind them.
Well, and then anytime you're playing two teams, you just got done playing Lexington, and then now you're on the road to play DC Power, two teams that are at the bottom of the standings and trying to put themselves in the conversation in the playoff picture. Those are the games where you have to go after 3 points, and 1 point is 3 points for another team, and it's going to be something where, do you see that shift in mentality once you start kind of seeing this precious time come off the clock, 15, 20 minutes left? Do you see kind of an uptick in pressure from the Tampa Bay Sun, knowing that, okay, it's at 0-0. We've kind of seen this game through the ebbs and the flows, but now it's time for us to take it. And DC Power on the flip side, who's going to help them find the breakthrough as collective? And you talk to coaches throughout the league, talk to players, that collective identity, that ability to be together in not only the game plan, but executing the game plan. It still does come down to individual moments a lot of the times, where you're winning a duel when it needs to be won. You're creating a chance when it needs to be created. You're tucking a ball away when you have the opportunity. And that's where DC Power, it's knocking on the door, but just still unable to take that final step.
And these fans at Audi Field would love to see a great performance, which they're already witnessing across the first 65, but a goal to cheer about. Love the way they've created those bunker seats. The fans are here for a Friday night of action.
But this is also the beauty and the cruelty of the game of football. You can own the statistics, you can own the numbers, the shots on target, the XG, all that. But if you don't tuck one away and you still drop points, or you leave a game 0-0, and that's that portion of the game that can be rather ruthless.
Colton. It's been a good battle between her and Nasello all night long. Drops it to Wolfbauer. As Fleur off of her line, wow! What an interception by Aquino. Had to get that perfect, and she does. As a long strike comes in, Aquino will gather. Morgan Aquino with an aggressive goalkeeping play, and the gamble pays off.
And when you haven't seen a lot of action in and around your box in terms of services or shots taken on, to be locked in and switched on in that moment, I mean, you know it as a goalkeeper, it's not always easy to just stay back there and stay switched on. That was a big play by Aquino.
She may get called into more action shortly. A first real look at Cecilia Fleur, which tells you how well DC Power have been able to defend the Danish star. Wolfbauer. A long pass towards Gawley is defended. And Page will touch it all the way back to Hendricks, who had that real scare where everybody's heart's in their mouths. Just anyone that loves the game of soccer knows when a player goes down with a non-contact injury, you're hoping for the best, and it's fantastic to see Brooke Hendricks not only running under her power, but cutting, kicking the ball. Denise Schulte-Brown will be the most relieved of everybody.
Yeah, just thankful to see her back on the field.
Kurosaki, nice and strong, slots it to Colton. Page recovers well. Wolfbauer will read this and knock it back to Aquino in goal.
Some of the hardest things to get right when you're a team that wants to be ball dominant and have possession is rest defense. A lot of the times that you find teams that have the ball, they leave themselves susceptible to transition moments just because you are playing this expansive style. You're playing this ability to stretch and open up your opponent. And DC Power, their rest defense has been spot on tonight. They have lost possession in some typically what we would consider dangerous areas, but you wouldn't have known it because of the way that they're ready and prepared to press or absorb and the ability to get back on the ball.
Interim head coach Phil Nana will make his first change of the game. In comes Carly Friles, the Philippine national team player. Has 12 goals in her 37 caps. She'll replace Yuka Kurosaki. Friles, of course, international teammates with Katrina Guiu. Phil Nana was very transparent that the international window is difficult for his side, but he is blessed with players that represent their nations, including Claire Constant, of course, with Haiti, Charlie Escott with Wales, and the two Filipinos now onto the field together. Listro. Page, who has found herself in a starting position, replacing Jackie Simpson, who of course sadly tore her ACL. And Page has done a very good job of filling those boots, and we wish, of course, Jackie Simpson all the best recovering from that injury. Bissett launches this forward. She has it in her locker. Claire Constant will try and press. It's into an area. Aquino gets there ahead of Fleur. But it's great work by Haugen to almost put it on a plate for Fleur.
Well, and that's that ability to manipulate space and move defenders. You get everybody squeezed centrally, and then it opens up that space in behind, and almost this opportunity coming to fruition.
And I wonder how much of Claire Constant pulling up is to do with the fact she's on a yellow card as well. Doesn't want to get caught in those 50-50s. Claire Constant, of course, the only player in the match that has been shown a yellow card by Mohamed Hassan, our center referee for tonight's action. Paige has made her way forward, a physical battle with Wolfbauer. And again, the word is consistent. There is frustration from both sides, but Paige at this point is well aware of what is deemed a foul in this game.
And that's why you don't see too much from the players in terms of explaining their side of each tackle, because they know, they have a good feeling for how this game is being officiated. Now it's just about putting themselves in different scenarios and different situations.
You see a head injury. It's Mernin down on the ground that has led to the stop in play. There was not a foul given. It's just the mandatory stop for a clashing of heads as we take a look. Mernin does appear to be okay now, but it's the contact with Goins. Talking about the foul count though, 26 fouls together, 16 against Tampa Bay Sun, 10 against DC Power. It's certainly been a tightly officiated game in terms of the amount of fouls we've seen given, and as we mentioned, Eric, neither team really suited to that stop-go style right now, particularly in a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, these are two teams that want to see the ball. Obviously, I was talking about the variety from the Tampa Bay Sun, the ability to be vertical, ability to transition, but possession numbers starting to find a bit more balance. DC Power with 52.2%, Tampa Bay Sun 47.8, so starting to balance. Total passes 282 for DC Power, 265 for Tampa Bay Sun.
So we see a pair of substitutions for Denise Schulte-Brown. Hannah Keane, who scored her first goal after recovering from a season-ending injury before she arrived in Tampa Bay, will come into the game along with Jordan Zaid. Sydney Nasello and Parker Goins see their night ended. And Hannah Keane, what an amazing story. Suffered a patella injury, but was the Golden Boot winner in the Australian A-League for Western United. Scored 24 goals in 2 seasons. Scored her first in the Super League off of the bench against Lexington. And there's that firepower again. Eric Light, the assistant head coach, told us they are blessed with depth in the attack, and they have displayed it, bringing on not only Hannah Keane, but also Cecilia Fleur off the bench.
And something that you're going to need to carry with you if you are to make not only a playoff run, but a deep playoff run. The ability to change matchups, get looks that you want. It's going to be something that makes them a tough out. And with as tight and congested as we continue to see the playoff standings, it's almost like each team is playing a playoff game per weekend right now.
Stay informed about all things Super League. Visit USLSuperLeague.com for all the latest information, analysis, and insight into the league. As a giveaway to Fleur, Claire Constant in a big tackle, ball coming, and Aquino, brave as can be, able to get there to smother from the boots of Fleur.
She's been terrific when called upon. Ready, decisive, composed in some big moments for her team, especially a team that is seeing a lot of the ball, but not necessarily creating. And with the Tampa Bay Sun continuing to sprinkle in bigger chances here towards the end of this match.
DC Power searching for their first shutout since November the 23rd. That actually the last time they've been victorious in the Super League, a 1-0 victory against Fort Lauderdale United. It was Anna Bagley, 90+2 with the game winner in that game. There's some familiar themes right now to that victory. Phil Nana will not have me jinx it, but he will be encouraged to see how well his side have defended through the 75 minutes we have had so far. Chip ball forward. Gawley will get on the end of it. She's just jumped the gun a little early and she's in an offside position.
And we've been raving about DC Power defensively throughout the game. Their rest defense, the structure, the support, the distances. But credit to Tampa Bay Sun, they have bottled up Gawley. They have denied entry passes. They've denied the passes over the top. They have really made it difficult for DC Power to get any sort of fluidity going through Gawley, and that's the primary goal.
As a header from Fleur goes wide of the mark, Page served in a dime. Fleur was not equal to it. And that's how dangerous Tampa Bay Sun can change a game.
Just in one moment, you get a quality service, get all the pace and all the shape that you need on it.
Denise Schulte-Brown will reflect on this ball from Page. A beautiful cross in. Fleur split the defenders.
Operating between the two defenders over that blind shoulder of the center back.
Tash Flint lays it forwards. A cut back towards Hannah Keane. Guiu with a fantastic defensive play to clear that away. DC Power hanging on, but Tampa Bay Sun growing.
And Guiu, an important play there, because a lot of the times you get midfielders that stop, and not because that they're lazy or they don't want to do the work, but you feel like some of that space is already occupied and your back line has got that space going forward. But with that late run coming in, ended up being an important intervention.
We will see a very important substitution for Phil Nana's side. Claire Constant will go to the bench. Have to think that yellow card plays a huge role in bringing off the captain. And in comes Grace Yango. Grace Yango, 24 caps with the Cameroon national team, has played professionally in France, Serbia, Germany. The list goes on. A very experienced player coming into the action. She will offer defensive toughness and resilience, as we see the note, the secret note, handed over. Have to wonder, Phil Nana trying to get some little coaching tips across for the remaining 12 minutes plus stoppage. Did you ever write any little notes to players during your coaching career?
No, I think my handwriting's too bad to
you got doctor's scribble.
Yeah, they might have gotten the wrong tactical advice on the notepad. I would assume that Phil Nana and his coaching staff are a lot more detailed in that regard.
Yango flick that one on. An awkward bobble. And it's volleyed clear. Flo will chase. Fitch with a bit of a miscue. She does well to stabilize, but Flo gets there. And then Wolfbauer there to bail out her defensive partner. That's playing as a team for DC Power. Big read by Hendricks again, who is not looking like a player that was down injured for a considerable amount of time. As Ava Tankersley will come into the game. She replaces Carly Jamona. A quiet evening for Carly Jamona, who's playing a little deeper than maybe we've seen her. Ava Tankersley will come into the game, the two-time SEC Forward of the Year with Arkansas. Has scored a goal so far for Tampa Bay Sun during her Super League career.
Physical presence in those attacking moments. Jamona had a terrific goal against Lexington last week, clipping one over the goalkeeper. The vision, the creativity.
I feel like Tash Flint might have got something in her eye. Just dealing with that. And she's not seen too many looks since Fleur was brought into the pitch, sitting in a deeper role. Colton is tripped by Tash Flint. It will set up a free kick for DC Power. Tash Flint, 8 goals on the season, joint second in the Golden Boot race. Had a couple of looks, in the first half, but ever since sitting deeper has been called upon in more defensive and distributing roles. Duong will look to serve this one in. Fitch also with her. Fitch will run and Duong will serve it in. Headed too easily by Hendricks from a DC Power perspective. Tampa Bay Sun will be very satisfied with Hendricks' header clear.
I think with the scoreline at 0-0, DC Power still have to feel good about their overall performance. Obviously, probably feeling like they deserve to have one on the board, but Tampa Bay Sun, even when they're not playing at their best and to their standard, you know that they're going to throw everything at DC Power. They're going to look for one quality look, see if they can convert, and that's where that pressure is going to ramp up.
Huge 8 minutes for both teams for very different reasons. As Flint and Yango in a physical battle. Flint goes to ground, doesn't see the whistle blown, but the ball doesn't lie as Haugen able to come away with it. Into Keane. Keane chips it. Well positioned Bagley. Fernanda told us Bagley is the player that covers the most ground in games. You see it in that moment, back to defend and then straight on her bike going forwards. Frilez learns the throw in off of Page. Ali Frilez in her first professional contract, finished up collegiately with VCU. Again, boasting that international experience, including playing in the World Cup with the Philippines back in 2023, but she's dispossessed here. Flint in the center circle. Pushes it over to Haugen. Haugen running. Laid further wide. And well defended yet again by Anna Bagley. It will set up a corner though, a dangerous opportunity for Tampa Bay.
It almost looked like that miscommunication at midfield from Tampa Bay Sun on who was going to take control of that ball. Kind of allowed DC Power to get back in, defend it. Although they did concede the corner here, you felt like Tampa Bay Sun were in a situation where they could have exploded and countered on DC Power.
They'll take it short. Colton is not able to make the challenge. Drop back to Keane. Haugen. Lofted service. Yango clears. And further afield by DC Power. They survive. Tampa Bay Sun still with Flint. Tash Flint, the deepest player on the pitch, launches it forward over everybody and out for a goal kick. The set piece coaches might not be totally thrilled about either team's deliveries from set pieces today.
Agreed 100%. I think that's going to be an area for both these sides that they felt like they could have, I mean, not necessarily capitalized, but you want to at least give yourself an opportunity. And I don't think that either side can look at their set pieces and say, yes, we gave ourselves an opportunity to convert. We gave ourselves an opportunity to put traffic in and around the goalkeeper. And especially for a team like Tampa Bay Sun that have not seen a lot of the ball, have not seen a lot of successful moments, although we have seen more of them here in the second half. Set pieces, corners, free kicks, those dead ball situations are prime opportunities to cause havoc and kind of get your foot going in the right direction in terms of that momentum, and they just have not been able to capitalize or move the needle.
Two teams, no strangers to late drama though. Do not write off last-minute drama between these two teams. DC Power have scored late in games, as have Tampa Bay Sun. All about that focus through the full 96 minutes. And oh, how appropriate does Phil Nana's comment feel now, Eric?
Yeah, They're looking for that comprehensive performance, and felt like they were developing, that they were growing into this portion of the season. But it's about moments. It's those small margins that come to define games.
As Bagley heads it forward, Yango. Giyu under a higher press of Tampa Bay Sun. She's able to play out of trouble. Colton will get there off of the touch of Page. Colton waiting. Plays it behind Friles, but she's able to get there. Friles to Colton. Is Colton tripped by Flint? Play on. And Tash Flint using every defensive bone in her body to shield that out. It's unbelievable that we're talking so much about Tash Flint on the defensive side of the ball, but again, what can't she do?
I said it in the open, a relentless runner, just the ability to down press, the initial press as well. Something where she covers a lot of ground on the ball, off the ball. Such an engine for this group.
So that's Fleur all the way back on the halfway line, looking to get involved in the build-up. Duong, risky pass as Fitch almost caught in trouble. We knocked wide to Friles. Yango. DC Power continuing to possess, but Tampa Bay Sun seeming to feel like their press could be fruitful. And it is. It's Keen's hard work, back to Page. Tired legs, tired minds right now for both teams. Who will be able to find focus for the remaining 2 minutes plus stoppage? As it's chipped forward, Flo chest down, Flo volleys, and it sneaks in. Cecilia Fleur breaks DC hearts, and Tampa Bay Sun are able to rise. They take the lead.
And it comes off of a sequence that was just a collective press. They forced DC Power into an area of the field where they were able to get numbers around the ball. And then when they regained possession, they made the right decisions. They kept possession, they built, and then what a ball over the top. But just met by an even better finish. Kino has been influential tonight in being alert and decisive, and that was just a fantastic finish.
It's goal number 8 on the year for Cecilia Fleur. That'll bring her into that almighty tie for second place in the Golden Boot race. And assistant coach Eric Licht told us that they are so fortunate with their squad depth in attack, and they have displayed it. Let's see what DC Power can do. Friles. We did see Loza Ribera come into the action. As a shot from Yango, saved by Orchid. Loza Ribera replaces Emily Colton. Colton, who put in an absolute shift. It's all about fresh legs and attacking the game. Loza Ribera, of course, the Ethiopian national team player, has 1 goal that came off of the bench. She won't have too long to do it here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated the kick will be a minimum of 5 minutes at a time.
Here's Fleur. She finds herself taken down. Madison Mernon commits the foul. We said there would be late drama, and it's late drama indeed for Tampa Bay Sun, and with 3 points we'll see them push even more comfortably above that playoff line. And it's that player that just got injured, Cecilia Fleur. She has been so influential to this Tampa Bay Sun side, has of course missed games on international duty with Denmark, but still finds a way to always be ready to go. And you've been a coach, a remarkable player that's able to come off the bench with the perfect attitude to have an impact.
Yeah, what you're looking for is not only sustainability and consistency, but that impact that you bring to the game. You want to know what you're going to get from a player, whether it's attacking side of the ball, defensively, when you make those substitutions, and players that can read a match and read it to apply it and execute when they come on. And that's something that she just continues to do at a high level, and just has absolutely flipped this game. And we knew that Tampa Bay Sun were just one play away, but it had felt like DC Power was absorbing in the right moments, was making sure that those channels were taken away. But then that goes back to just how precise and high quality that ball in from Vivian Bissett was. And then the timing of the run.
We did see 5 additional minutes. 2 of those have already been eaten up. So DC Power have 3 minutes to grab an equalizer. Tampa Bay Sun have 3 minutes between them and 3 more points to their total. Zaid into the corner. And much to the surprise of the back line of DC Power, the AR has awarded a throw-in to Tampa Bay Sun.
And if Tampa Bay Sun can pick up the 3 points tonight, now you just sit back and watch all the matches tomorrow, see how everybody fares.
There's a cut back, flashes across the face of goal.
That would have been devastating if you would have conceded a second goal this late. There's still enough time to create a good look and put yourself in a situation where you could equalize.
Over the head of Guiu, couldn't keep that one in. And Denise Schulte-Brown will feel like even when her team hasn't played their best soccer today, they've been able to find themselves grinding out to be in the position for a result. What do we talk about? Successful teams are able to win even when they're not necessarily playing at their best. Tampa Bay Sun right now, the definition of that.
Well, and I mentioned earlier how cruel this game can be. You can win the possession numbers, you can control all those, but if you don't tuck one away, then you put yourself in a situation where you're either drawing a game that you feel like you deserved more, or you're conceding a heartbreaker like DC Power just did. But going back to your point, when you're vying for those playoff spots and you're trending in that direction where you're playing good football, you're in good form, and you go on the road and you haven't picked up a point since the fall season here at DC Power, I don't think you're going for style points. You're just going and trying to create and to pick up those valuable 3 points that they're going to look back on if they can close out this game. Maybe see this as a big turning point for them and that climb up the standings.
Ashley Orcus will take as much time as she can from this goal kick. We are at the moment of discretion of our referee, Mohamed Hassan, on just how long is left. So long clearance will be headed back and the full-time whistle will blow. Tampa Bay Sun and Cecilia Fleur, the hero, an 88th minute game winner, sees Denise Schulte-Brown's side with 3 more valuable points. DC Power battled, played well, but they still just can't get that first victory of the spring slate.
And just were unable to unlock the Tampa Bay Sun in the final third. Did a great job in the build-up through the middle third, just were not able to find that breakthrough they were looking for. And a lot of credit to the Tampa Bay Sun. They absorbed some pressure. They probably didn't play to the standard that they're accustomed to, especially coming off their recent form, but they found a way. They problem solved. They did it collectively, and they found that one moment and they executed.
Well, a Cecile Fleur goal has Tampa Bay Sun victorious. A 1-0 victory here from Audi Field over DC Power. We've got an interview when we come back, and we'll put the bow on the game. Stick with us. Welcome back to USL Super League action from Audi Field. Final score, DC Power 0, Tampa Bay Sun 1. We're now joined by Vivian Bissett from the Tampa Bay Sun. Vivian, firstly, congratulations on the win. It wasn't always pretty, but what does this 3 points show about your club and the mentality of this team right now?
Yes, for sure. I mean, we are resilient. I mean, we worked hard until the end, even though it wasn't very pretty since the start, but we got it done and we did what we needed to do and keep on moving to the next game.
Vivian, congrats on the 3 points, big road points. Goal in the 88th minute. What did you see in the goal in the build-up?
I mean, obviously we were trying to get forward as much as we could because we know there was only a few seconds left. But I saw Flo make this incredible run, and I sent it to her, and she did an amazing finish. So it was a team effort, and we just try to get what we can today on the road, but we got it done.
A terrific ball. Now 4 unbeaten. What has really driven this run of form for you guys?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Four games unbeaten. What has kind of driven this run of form?
I mean, we're trying to stay on that high, obviously. We're trying to push for the playoffs, and we just need to keep getting better every game and keep grinding. I mean, we want to win the next game and the next and just keep on moving forward.
Well, Vivian, go enjoy the celebrations. Congratulations on another victory.
Thank you so much.
That was Vivian Bissett, had an assist on the game-winning goal. Let's take a look at our full-time highlights. Jessica Charman, Eric Dobransky with you. And Emily Colton came close in the first half.
Yeah, off a casual throw-in opportunity, obviously deep in the Tampa Bay Sun territory, but catching them a bit off guard and then almost taking other opportunities earlier, but really did a good job of absorbing and creating themselves, but just were unable to capitalize on that final action in the attacking third.
Well, it has been quite the evening of action from Audi Field in the USL Super League. DC Power dropped the result, an 88th minute Cecilia Flo goal, the difference between the two. For Jessica Charman, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew, it has been delightful bringing you action from the USL Super League. Final score from DC, it's DC Power 0, Tampa Bay Sun 1.